board game, right? When we combine this board game with interactive sales training, we actually think that theoretically out. And we've been saying it for 20 years. But of course, 20 years ago, I was very young, fresh out of university, so a lot of people didn't, they would listen to somebody like me. So I had to prove myself over the years. So the first 4 years I ran Cashflow, we ran 3 sessions every weekend. For the first 4 years. Every Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, big groups. I got the attention of a lot of churches, Christian churches over, open up their doors to us, a lot of individuals open up their homes. Mom was one of those that helped us get out of their broken out of obscurity, because we teach us finance on board games, right? And we were making some very wild claims because we saw it for ourselves. Now, I was a bit lucky in terms of timing. When I read that product, I was at university. I was at Roytech and Port Spain. And around that time, kidnapping was really rampant. Do you remember those days? Just after 9/11, like all the criminals, when he says, got sent to Trinidad, and there were professional criminals here, soldiers and police and criminals were teaming up and kidnapping a lot of people, a lot of young kids who had people, parents had money and stuff, right? Now, it wasn't just rich kids, because I was one of them who, I was one kidnapped already as well. I moved from campus because of it in St. Augustine. And then done at Roytech, because Roytech had armed security guards with bulletproof vests and helmets. So when I went to Roytech in 2003, all the rich kids in Toronto were there at the same time, right? So I was exposed to, I had a culture shock at university, because I went to do my degree in business. And the kids there were from very wealthy families. I'm from South Trinidad, I'm from the oil industry. I'm surrounded by the middle class. And the rich people, they're very down to it, they drive on Japanese foreign use, they live in 3-bedroom houses, They keep a low profile. They have their jet park in the airport, but they don't keep a low profile, right? But South is different. When I came up to Roytech, I saw kids driving Mercedes Benz and S-Class 500s and stuff. And I had never seen that before. I thought I was just on TV or in California, right? And they were, some of them, they were stuck in school. I was the one sitting in front of the class trying to learn everything. It's a business degree. I want to be successful in business, so I was like, I'm doing a business degree. It makes sense. I'm going to learn everything in the class. The rich kids went in back. They weren't paying attention. And I found that very strange. So I kept my eyes on it and I started noticing they were reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I never heard of that book before. I am reading a book from no Chinese guy. I don't know who that Chinese guy is. I don't know, right? But the rich kids are reading it. So one of them in particular asked her why she was reading that book. And she said, well, the dad making her read it. And I know her dad is very successful. He was an architectural firm making plenty money. Right? And he making his daughter Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I borrowed the book from her just to read the introduction. And as I tell everybody, don't go and buy the book, don't listen to me. Just go and read the introduction of Rich Dad Poor Dad in the bookstore. And then try to put it down. Try not to buy it. You have to make an effort not to buy it.
Yes.
Right? When I read that introduction, I took my $150 for my top coconuts money that week, right? Because I used to go to parties every weekend, right? It was expensive to party, right? But I was popular, right? I took my party money that week and I bought my Rich Dad Poor Dad immediately. And I read the entire book cover to cover several times over. Why? Because it was teaching me things that wasn't being taught in a degree program in business. A degree program from the University of New Brunswick. That's not school. I thought when you do a business degree, you start a business. It was the opposite. You get a job in a company with a business degree. I didn't know that, right? So it was a bit of a shock because I came to Roytech to become a business owner. I want to be successful in business. So upon reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and the other Rich Dad books, I started realizing that the knowledge was going in a different direction from what I was doing in my degree program. So when I found out that he invented a board game that taught the same thing, I bought it in December 16th, 2005. That's exactly almost 20 years ago. Right? I bought my game, my first Cashflow session of Roytech. You released from Roytech, right? He wasn't there the first session, but he was around. All his friends were there. We had a session, we realized what he was teaching. We said we need to continue this as much as possible. We kept the sessions going on at Roytech until I graduated in 2006. By then I had quite a reputation. This was before social media, before Facebook, right? Guardian Life hired me as my first job after university. They allowed me to keep the sessions going for free at their conference room in St. Augustine. So I was able to continue training people. Like, I was also training people at my apartment, strangers by the way, every weekend. Right? Kind of scary, but if you're doing something good for society, hopefully nobody come with a knife on a gun and try to do something with it, right? So I was attracts good energy. So I was always surrounded by a lot of very positive people, people like Mark, a lot of people just like came around that helped me succeed. It was almost impossible to fail. Because anytime I fought or anything like that, people like him and people around me kept me, what is he here for? Keep me in line because we all want to make this succeed. So this game is very powerful and you should play this as much as possible. Probably buy your own board game. Also play it online for free on richdad.com. Get that knowledge in your head. They're not going to get into the education system. They don't teach you that. The education system is designed to produce employees. And you all know GOB stands for? Just over growth. You're going to game. Right. So this is Cashflow 101. This is actually the first game. There's also Cashflow 2 too. Right? So Cashflow clubs are all over the world. It's a franchise from Rich Dad. The franchise is actually failed in 2011 or 2010, somewhere around there. We just kept it going. They all branch off in different avenues because the Cashflow still exists. But we are now official Cashflow clubs. So it's a very unique kind of group to be in, right? So I was just one of those that kept the sessions going as a course. Everybody else stuck to events because events was profitable. I'm a social entrepreneur. My goal wasn't really to make profit and get rich. My goal was to solve a problem. So I approached it differently. I stuck to classes and courses because I felt that I had to figure out back in 2006, 2007 how to teach people interactive sales training and combine it with this. That's what I was trying to figure out. And there was only one interactive sales training program in the whole, well, as far as I knew, in the whole Western Hemisphere. That's Dale Carnegie. The Dale Carnegie franchise. And man, what are the chances of this? My mother did a course called the Dale Carnegie course. This is not the sales program, right? It's a Dale Carnegie course, a course in communications, which invited me to the graduation. And that's when I realized there was an interactive sales training program from Dale Carnegie. I signed up for the course in 2007. I made sure I still up in class. I did everything as perfect as I knew the importance of sales training. I still in class as best I could and stayed on as a volunteer for 7 years. I took no payment from Dale Carnegie. I trained and worked for them for free. Why? So that I can learn the business inside out. They don't have to pay me. I'm spying. Actually, my real aim was to win them over and use their location and course. We had the first big cash session because all the time I was doing one board game at my place kind of thing. My first big session, he actually came to that session at the economy, right? I was a man of sorts. The first time we had a session with 3 board games and we were freaking out like, wow, the energy was incredible. You know, it changed all our lives. Because when you're in a room of people doing something like this and everybody's brain is just concentrating on something like this, you feel that energy. And if the room has more people in it playing game, it's truly magnificent. I run my company based on that and make a lot of money. I run Remax. I'm the CEO of Remax. This is actually 4 franchise I bought because of this. Right? And of course, businesses in between and stuff. I'm in real estate. Right? The reason why I'm the owner of Remax is because for years, especially when we introduced the interactive sales training program after I left the economy, well, they just simply stopped answering phone. I think they stopped doing the course. But by that time, 2014, I already started hiring sales trainers and training them myself and filling the classes. I was actually doing that for a long time, for a number of years. Adrian Harper was the last one. He's a sales trainer from BMW. I was filling classes for like 4 or 5 years, something like that. I filled classes until they started becoming unreliable. You know, when they start making plenty of money and easy money, they start getting lazy and stuff, right? So eventually I took over the class myself. In 2017, I bought the Remax franchise. It was a very big franchise, the largest investment ever made, but it was an avenue to send all my graduates to somewhere besides other companies. So that's what I was doing for a number of years. That's actually how we had locations all over. Panama gave us locations because we're producing insurance agents. Got a nice thing, but I was making them rich. So eventually we had to find a franchise of our own, or business of our own, and so we could supply highly trained agents that could sell and do kind of thing and make money. So I was trying to decide what kind of sales team I would have, like with real estate brokerage or car sales company. I didn't know at the time, but I chose Remax. Remax moved very fast on me, and when the owner of the region came to Trinidad to meet me, the chances are so slim. If you're into personal development, you all know about synchronicity, right? Yeah. So when I met the owner of the Remax franchise in the region, and he got my business card, it was a Cashflow club card, he got really excited when he saw it. He put on his laptop and showed his Cashflow club in El Salvador and then Colorado. So I met another Cashflow club member, he was owner, and he actually ran Remax in the Caribbean and Central America region. What are your chances of that? 1 in a billion. So I knew I had to buy a franchise. It was like my personal sign. Right? And since then, I have had the largest team in real estate since. I am definitely number one. Caribbean is probably making more money. I don't know. I don't see the financials. I would assume, I don't see them in the market much, but they're there. But they're really small. I'm the largest by far. And my company is growing very fast. My agents are making plenty of money. Right? And every single month we're increasing and increasing and increasing. This month is the biggest one so far in the company. And this is August. This is first month of the year. So some milestone for the company. So because we did this in August, the entire team is excited about September, October, November, December. Because if we could do this in August, imagine what will happen in October and November when we really push it through, right? So, if you probably realize right now, I'm into the art of teaching people how to make more money. I'm not into the belief of living below your means. I mean, you keep your expenses low, of course. You don't want to be silly with your expenses. So you keep when you financial statements in the game, you own them. You keep a financial statement, something similar to this. The job cards in the game. You keep this thing here. You make sure to keep a financial statement at all times. And this is what is being learned in the game. You learn finance, you learn accounting, you learn business, you learn investments, paper assets. Or something like you here, so I'll get some stuff, right? I think this. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'll show you all assets and liabilities and stuff. You work with some good knowledge here too, right? You ever time for something on over time?
Well, actually,
How much time I have you? 5 minutes? Okay. Make sure I'm timing 5 minutes so that they know we'll go for the information. Stopwatch. Right. Okay. So this is a very important sheet. But the reason why you also have to learn to sell is because sales equals income. You have to be able to make money, right? Now, you want to have a diversified portfolio. When we say diversified portfolio, we don't mean a diversified portfolio of mutual funds. Right? Don't do that. That's silly. I don't mean a diversified portfolio of different kinds of stocks. That's also silly. A diversified portfolio of asset classes. You have business, real estate, and paper assets. Business, real estate, paper assets. Only 3 asset classes. And crypto. The crypto and paper assets. It's for paper assets. Okay, good. Because they have no control over it. No, if it is not exactly might include a 4th category now, which I think is a mistake. Come on, it is a 4th. Okay. They don't make a mistake. They're still paper assets. Right, so this is the asset classes, right? You have business, which is by far my favorite asset class, if you ever get to know me. People always assume real estate is my favorite because I'm a real estate broker and I love what I do. I've been teaching real estate investment for 20 years. That's kind of why my company was able to go so fast, because when I started in 2017, the Syrians who were all Europe programs and making all the money, they were quite shocked because all of a sudden this guy come from nowhere and just taking ton after ton after ton after ton. They were panicked. They panicked. They didn't know where I was. Massive realty was exposed. You realize they gone? They were exposed. They're outside of the West. I'm not in the West as yet. I'm now entering. So Terra is now ramping up their social media marketing because they're preparing for a rival. Right? Because it's happening. But I'm now getting into real estate. Right? Do I own property? Of course. You have to get into real estate. If you don't own real estate yet, you're making a big mistake. You're making money in crypto, they don't keep your money in crypto. You're moving money to other asset classes, like business and real estate. You want multiple sources of income. Don't worry, I'm not financing the this now. Right? So this is paper assets. Right? Now, you can make plenty of money in paper assets. There are a lot of members in Cashflow. We run the largest Cashflow in the world. I don't know if you realize that right now. It's the largest and most active by far. I have sessions every single weekend. This is a weekend off for the first time in a very long time. Normally, I'll have class starting like 6 minutes ago. 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Every Sunday, literally. We took the Sunday off because on the weekend and it's in between cycles. I have a new cycle starting next weekend. Right? My cycles are a month long. It used to be 10 weeks back in days. Okay. Over the years, as we got better at teaching it, because what we look for, there's not so much teaching in course. What we look for is application. Yeah. We look to see how many people start businesses, how many people invest in real estate, how many people invest in stocks and crypto and other paper assets, right? That's what we look for, effect. That's how we know who's the youngest person in trade. Because 10-year-olds are the last, we experimented over years. 10-year-olds are the youngest kids we can train. Unless it's a very mature, very intelligent 9-year-old. It's trial and error. No, experimentation, right? We use the scientific method. Right? Old people struggle in cash flow because they can't see the finances. They can't see the numbers, right? They struggle. Very educated people also struggle. PhD graduates, rare. Prominent lawyers struggle. We think it's brain damage from the education system.
Struggle for what?
They struggle to learn this stuff. They struggle to yes, and strategy and the game and learning via simulations, learning by doing, which is how all our brains are designed to learn. They struggle. They have to sort of now learn how to learn. Because if you go to the cone of learning, which is not up here, and this is the science behind, is it off? Oh, I have a light on. If this cone of learning here, which shows the most effective ways to learn, right? On the bottom of the cone of learning, right, shows you the worst way to learn, right? Which is called
Reading.
reading is actually one of the worst ways to learn. You only remember 10% of what you read. I know we push books and you should read books and the books and stuff, but again, it's actually one of the worst ways to learn. Just listen to lecture here and words. Listen to me talking today. You only remember 20% of what I say. And 20 minutes is even less. Not 30 seconds, right? So what we do, we simulate the real experience. The only thing that on that is doing the real thing. So our brains actually learn information and be able to apply it. Right? I'm a CEO of a company. If I'm not able to train people to become permanent agents, I'll be broke very fast. I create money makers. And now that I'm a CEO, I have even more of an emphasis to make people make money faster. Because when they make money, I make money. I get 30% of what they make. And that's how I am able to move my company. Right? So if you want more information on this, I'm going to leave my number on the screen. You can probably add me on WhatsApp or something. I do. I'll have updates every single day. New properties, deals. We have deals that go in one day because real estate investors are always looking out for updates. We have deals that, very fast. So this is my number, 768 6761. My name is Roger Moore. Right? Any questions before Mark takes over?
But before you come on to say something, before you come on to speak, I highly recommend you all take this book first. I have no regrets. Highly recommend taking the course. I know he still gives referral incentives, but you also get referrals.
Yes, I have the referral.
For sending people on the
20% actually.
20%? So what I would do?
But for him though, eventually you want to. You yes, because you're graduate.
I'll share this with you so you can get the course at a cheaper price, but I highly recommend you all take this course, right? Roger Moore was also an excellent team as he was talking. He was an excellent team part of me coming up with this plan that you will start to see on food using the cash flow game. I want to use it with network marketing.
That's very smart.
And now with crypto. So it's all coming together. So Roger Moore,
Thanks very much.
thank you. Give a round of applause, everyone.